gonna drive across town, get it to my buddy's shop, fix as much of it as we can, and drive all the way to the West Coast. Before we got the Jeep, I realized this thing's gonna have wiring issues. I had some photos, I saw that there were wires hanging all over the place, and I got a hold of my friend Dennis. Now Dennis used to work at Painless Performance, and Painless offers wiring harnesses for lots of different vehicles. So we talked to him, we decided to bring it to his shop and do a rewire on the Jeep from front to back. Updating status. Jeep battery dead again. Okay, we've laid out our wiring harness. This is for the 75 to 86 Jeep CJ. We're gonna start in the middle here. This is the under dash part of the harness. It has the fuse block and it has all the wires that go to the gauges. So we are just about done with the back half of this Jeep. All the back of this CJ really has is taillights and the fuel sending unit for the fuel tank, which is right underneath the bed here. Tomorrow we'll button up all the engine wiring, we'll run the reverse light switch, and we'll also have a few other things to fix, such as we want to find some new seats. We might run to the junkyard and find that. And we have a rear pinion seal that's leaking. So if we can get all that stuff dialed in tomorrow, we should be back on the road and hopefully go four-wheeling. Okay, Dennis. Let's go over everything before we start this up. We put the new battery cables in, all the grounds, new battery tie down, all the wiring to the alternator, new coil, ignition stuff. Anything we didn't use, we rolled up and tied up nice and clean on the sides. I'm gonna turn on our master kill switch.
Okay.
And check some lights. How's it look up front?
Everything looks good up here.
All right, let's start it up.
All right, fire it up.
Clear.
Another successful story.
Let's go four-wheeling.
Here we go.
So we had hopped on a plane, flew to Texas, found an old Jeep, drug it to our friend Dennis's shop, rewired the whole thing with some help from Painless, put in new headlights, new taillights, got everything working, got the Jeep running great, swapped an axle, put in some new seats, a new bikini top, and now we're ready to go. Painless really stepped up and helped us out a lot to make this happen. The guys drug us around to junkyards so we could find the parts we needed. Dennis lent us his garage where we just made a giant mess for a few days before we got the Jeep back together. We can't wait to come back to Texas and take this Jeep on a little adventure. Well, Dennis, I think I'm gonna need my raincoat.
Sure looks like it today.
Thanks for all your help.
Hey, you're welcome. Glad to have you.
I had a good time. We got a working Jeep, we have new lights, we have a new axle, seats. I think we're ready to go.
So we'll talk you through some of our issues we're having now. Oh, there's one of them right there. Oh, there's another one.
There we go. Oh, yep, and it died. Turn the choke off. All right,
Okay.
so we're having some fuel issues.
Keep going. Wow, look, it's excited.
There's some stuff there.
There is some. Let me see the flathead screwdriver.
Good job, Fred.
I don't know, I'm gonna try it. Okay, hold up.
Oh, we're getting gasolina.
If you would have just told us how to do this, and I would have done this.
Awesome.
What are you doing?
I spilled some fuel on myself. It happens sometimes.
All right, crank it over.
It hurts. I was trying to prime the gas fuel tank on the carburetor. Give a little extra fuel in there, it turns out.
That was an interesting technique, Vern. It's worked in the past. Quick, let's go.
Yep.
Need more rock.
Okay. Hold freeze. Try that. Climb, little Jeep.
Okay, so the Jeep stopped running again. Happens. So to get over this obstacle, I'm gonna use my handy dandy worn winch that I got for Jeep Truck Challenge and get myself out.
You really don't want to wrap your winch line or cable around a tree because it can scar the tree. It'll pinch. Plus it can kink your cable if you loop it around and hook it back to itself. So you use a tree saver. These guys got a recovery sack from ARB. Okay. Pedal driver.
8,000-pound winch, 3,000-pound Jeep.
Oh, that's awesome. It used to run on chocolate milk.
So now I'm gonna try the other side. That's vanilla.
Yeah, that side was chocolate and the other side's vanilla. For our second day of Jeep recovery, Payway messed around with the rat's nest of wiring, Freiberger did the carburetor rehash, and I rolled around on the ground fixing brakes and draining and refilling anything that would hold oil.
140. Be a little.
I
thick.
did?
It'll be fine. I got one of each.
Just a little low.
Okay.
Hi, Gunter.
This carburetor looked like it had been on the Titanic. So we pieced together one off of my old Ford F-250 4x4, one off Rick's old motorhome, and a random rebuild kit, and we're gonna make it good. This is a strange carburetor because it's actually a 390 CFM deal. You can tell the hole in the Venturi is a little bigger on this 600, which is the really common 1850 carb, versus this one, which is a 390. Actually a better deal for that little V6.
Day 3 of our little Jeep project here on Dirt Every Day. In fact, this Jeep has earned a name. It is now Old Blue. The reason it's called Old Blue, because the prior owner liked to spray paint everything blue. The axles are blue, the transfer case is blue, all these parts on the engine are blue. Even though the Jeep is white, it's now called Old Blue. So, yesterday we put gear oil in front and rear axles. We stuffed new gear oil in the transmission and transfer case. Rick is gonna finish up the wiring. Freiberger had to go eat some roadkill, so he's not here today, but we should be able to crank this thing over pretty soon. I'm gonna get rid of this roll cage because Rick doesn't want it, so I'm gonna start chopping this up and then hopefully we'll put it out front for the scrap bin. So that Willys Jeep fuel tank was really rusted, and the guys at Genrite make aluminum fuel tanks for all types of Jeeps like JKs and CJs. So we brought the Willys one here to see if they want to start making Willys tanks. Plus, they have a race team and we got some racing harnesses from them. We really just need some lap belts for the flatty, but when racing harnesses go out of date, you can't use them for racing anymore. So we got some new seat belts for the Jeep. We are about to crank over the engine. All of the spark plugs are still pulled out of the engine because we don't know what type of water, PV blaster, and other types of oil and junk is down in the cylinders. So we set up these little pieces of cardboard so when we crank it over, hopefully it won't just spray everywhere. Then we can see if it's pumping fuel up to the carb, at which point we'll put in the spark plugs and try and make it run. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning.
All right, what are we going to do today?
Put the leaf springs and shocks in.
Found this wire. We're going to use this to just wire that track bar out of the way.
Yep.
Because I'm tired of fighting it, and we need to get this thing on the road.
We got to drop the transfer case, put the wheels and tires on, and the rest of the wheel spacers, and peel out. These Old Man Emu springs don't come with the bushings pressed into them because they offer you these urethane ones, which are a little bit more durable and they allow for better flex than the like pressed in rubber bushings like stock would have. You gotta put some grease in there and push the bushings in before you can put them in the Jeep.
Bounce up and down on it. Almost. Okay, one is in. One more.
This is what all the professional off-road shops do to install shocks. I say we put the tires on it, get it off these jack stand tires, and then do the transfer case.
Good idea. I really like these steel wheels from Rugged Ridge. They only make these currently in a JK bolt pattern. Manufacturer's recommended tire size with this size lift is like a
31.
31 or 32 and a half, maybe a 33. These are 35s. Notice they rub slightly right here. But this is plastic, so I'm not too worried about that. So we're gonna start on the front end. The front suspension has a sway bar that we're gonna just delete, get rid of. Also has another track bar, which we're gonna delete and get rid of. It has a steering dampener. We have a new one of those. We're gonna get rid of that and put the new one on. We gotta take the old shocks off, front leaf springs out. So basically, front end's getting torn apart right now. Tires go on the front, we're ready to peel out.
This is a good hill climb.
Third gear, low range, hill killer.
You tried this earlier and it started pooping out.
Second gear, low range, hill killer.
We're getting closer. Whoa!
How's your seatbelt?
Seatbelt,
Keep you safe?
I'm the safest.
This Jeep just loves you, Dave. It just hugs you. Oh, let's take this line.
There's the highway.
Oh, Dave, tunnel.
Sweet.
Think we'll fit? You always have to honk.
Coming through.
This is rad. Coming out the other side.
This wash is cool.
Yeah.
Look at those dunes, Dave.
Oh man.
Pismo Beach.
That was the longest 30-mile drive I've ever been on.
You want to like hop in the ocean and cool off?
No.
Dave, where else can you drive on the beach, in the rain, in California, in a Jeep that you got out of a junkyard a day and a half ago?
Nowhere but here, Fred.
Nowhere but here in Pismo Beach.
California.
Did you bring any tanning lotion so we don't get burnt?
I didn't. All I brought were these safety glasses.
And the 17 layers of waterproof gear.
Junkyard Jeep for the win.
This thing's awesome.